This is video number 1 for sections 4.1 and 4.2, natural number exponents. Today we begin a brand new unit in this class. So far we've been dealing with linear functions, and we're about to jump into a new kind of function, exponential functions. We'll be dealing with these functions throughout chapters 4 and 5, but today, before we get to exponential functions, we need to do a little bit of reviewing with regard to exponents in general. And so this lesson is just a big skill lesson about exponents. We're going to start simple and work our way to more complicated. In this video, we'll just consider the simplest case of natural number exponents. In other words, exponents like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, etc. Let's define some terms here. So when you see something like this, the big number at the bottom is called the base, and the little number is called the exponent, or the power. When you have a natural number power here, this expression becomes essentially just a shorthand for multiplication, with the base telling you what to multiply and the power telling you how many. So the expression x to the n means that we're going to be multiplying a bunch of x's together. How many of them? Well, however many n says. For example, if I have the expression 4 to the third, or you can read this 4 cubed, this does not mean 4 times 3, which is 12. That is not what this means. The base, the 4, tells me what I am multiplying. So I am multiplying a bunch of 4's together in this situation. How many 4's will I have? Well, that's what the exponent tells me. The exponent says you're going to have 3 of those 4's. The base is what you are multiplying. The power is how many. To work this out, just multiply across. 4 times 4 is 16, times another 4 is 64. So as long as the exponent is a nice natural number like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, this is a very simple process. There is one little twist that I need to remind you of, and that is what's given here. If in an exponential expression you desire the base to be negative, it must be given in a set of parentheses. If the base is negative, it must be in parentheses. This is a tricky issue. It tends to bother people. You really have to think about it and practice with it to get it down. Take a look at these two examples here. All right, you might be feeling, oh, they're saying exactly the same thing. They both just say negative 2 to the fourth. That is incorrect. These are two very different problems. They have different answers. Let me see if I can show you. The first example is the straightforward one. We just got through saying if you want the base to be a negative number, it has to be in a parentheses. I see the parentheses. The base would be negative 2. The exponent tells me how many negative 2's to multiply, and so what I need to do is I need to multiply 4 negative 2's together. If I do that, let's see, negative 2 times negative 2 is positive 4, times another negative 2 is negative 8, times another negative 2 is positive 16. So that one works just as you expect it would. Take a look, though, at the second example. Again, I know that your brain may be telling you that this is the same thing, but it's not. If I were to ask you what is the base this time, the answer is not negative 2. I know that because there's no parentheses. If I want the base to be negative, it has to be in parentheses. The base in this problem is a positive 2. This is a positive 2 being raised to the fourth power, and then that answer has a negative sign in front of it. You can think of it like this. It's as if there's an imaginary dividing wall here between this negative and the rest of the problem. It's not a negative 2. It's a positive 2 multiplied 4 times and then a negative sign attached on the outside. Well, if you work that out, all the 2's are still going to make 16, but then you're going to have that negative sign on the outside. The answer to this problem is negative 16. So this is a big deal. If the base is negative, it has to be in parentheses. If that last example still bothers you a little bit, here's another way you can think of it. Really, this expression here is a shorthand for this. -1 times 2 to the fourth. That's really what's going on here, but you know in math we often leave off the 1 because multiplying by 1 doesn't do anything, and so this longer expression ends up getting simplified here. Again, the point is simply you have to be looking for those parentheses, and if they're not there, then the base is positive and the negative sign is attached later. We'll see this issue come up a few more times as we go through this lesson.